This will be section 5-3, 7th grade. We're going to do page 156. We're going to start here on number 1. And actually, we've done these types of problems before. We've done these the last few days. So the first one here, we need to figure out what 5% of 30 is. Well, the easiest way is probably to use a calculator and just multiply 5% as a decimal. So 5% is a decimal. You'd have to move your decimal over 2 times. So you get 0.05. So you could do 0.05 times 30. And you're going to get, 10% would be 3. So you're going to get $1.50. But let's just double check. You get, it's money. These are all money, I think. So we'll have a dollar sign. 5% of 30 would be $1.50. But I'm going to show you the trick here with 5%. If I know it, I can tell you the trick for 10%. 10% of 30 is 3 because you just move the decimal 1 time over. So 5%, if you know what 10% is, well, you just got to cut it in half. So 5% would be 1.5 because that's half of 3. Number 2 over here, if we're going to do 15%, well, that's just a combination of 10% and 5%. So 10% of 70 is 7. 5% then is half of 7, so it'll be 3.5. And when you add these together, you get $10.50. $10.50. But we can check our work. We'll do 0.15. That's what that is as a decimal. 0.15 times 70. $10.50. For the next one, I want to show you another trick that's pretty neat with percents. Another trick is 0.4% of 100. So if it said 0.4% of 100, one thing we could do is we could swap this number and this number. And let me show you what that's going to look like. That's going to change it to 100% of 0.4, which is therefore just 0.40. Because 100% means times 1. You move your decimal 2 times is 1 times 0.4. So in money terms, 0.4, probably throw in a couple zeros, but it's just the exact same thing. Nothing changes. Or we could go ahead and move our decimal 2 times over. So we have 0.004 times 100. Same thing. Next one, 150% of 22. Well, I know that 100% of 22 is 22. 50% is half, so that'll be 11. So this is going to be $33 because it's 100% and then half of it. Number 5, 1%. Well, I'll tell you 10% would move the decimal just 1 time. 1%, you move your decimal a second time. So it's going to be 0.80. And we can prove it because I move a decimal 2 times here. It'll be 0.01 times 80. 0.01 times 80. We get 0.8. Number 6, 200%. Well, that's 2 100%. And 2 100%. Well, 1 100%. 100% of 5 is 5. So if we have 2 of those, it's going to be $10. Brandon buys a radio for $43.99 in a state where the sales tax is 7%. How much does he pay in taxes? So 7%, we need to write this as a decimal. It'll be 0.07, not 0.7. We move decimal 2 times. Now we need to multiply those to figure out how much money he's paying in taxes. 43.99 times 0.07. He's paying $3.08. I rounded to 7 up to 8 because there was a 9 after it. Part B, what is the total he pays for the radio? Well, he's going to pay for the original price plus taxes. So we have $43.99 plus 3.08, and we get a total of $47.07. So anytime you go to the store, you're going to have to pay for taxes. So at this price, he's paying this much money with that tax added on. Number 8, Louisa received $108 for a necklace she sold on an online auction. The auction site took a fee of 10% of the selling price. What was the selling price of the necklace? So this one's a little bit more tricky. So she's going to get $108. The company took 10% away. So here we have, let's see, 108 times 108 is 90% of the price. Okay, so in other words, 108 equals 0.90 times P. So what we need to do, let me talk about how I came up with these. I know that the amount that she got, where did this 90 come from? Well, they took 100, they took her 100% that it sold for, and they took 10% of that and gave her the rest. So that's where the 90% came from. So 108 equals 0.90 times something. So in order to solve this, we'll divide by 0.90, divide by 0.90. So 108 divided by 0.9 shows us the original price was $120. And then they took 10% of that away. They took $12 away. And I can tell you that's 12 because 10%, you move the decimal one spot over. That's $12. And 120 minus 12 is 108. Number 9, Joe borrowed $2,000 from the bank at a rate of 7% simple interest per year. How much did he pay in 5 years? So we need to figure out how much is he supposed to pay per year on 2,000. So we'll do 2,000 times 0.07, not 0.7. 2,000 times 0.07. And this guy's paying $140 per year. So how many does he pay in 5 years? Well, we'll do 140 times 5. We get a total of $700. Number 10, Sonia works at a sporting goods store. She earns $415 per week plus 5.25% commission on all her sales. 1 week, her sales are $2,200. What is her total income for the week? So the first thing we need to do is figure out how much does she make. So she's going to get $415 plus her commission, which is this percentage of this $2,200. So we'll do 2,200 times, move the decimal 2 times over, 0.0525. And that comes from this 5.25%. That was 5.25. Move it over 2 times, 0.0525. She's going to make from this $115.50. So we need to add that to our weekly salary plus $415. So what did she make in this week? She made $530.50. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the next page, so you might need to pause it right now if you're falling a little bit behind. All right, number 11. Martin finds a shirt on sale for 10% off at the department store. the original price was $20. But he also has an 8.5% sales tax that happens after his discount. So if he gets 10% off, how much is the shirt before taxes are applied? Well, 10% off means we're going to figure out what 10% is of this and take it away. 10% of 20 is 2, and I know that because I moved my decimal over one time. I divided it by 10. So 20 minus 2, 10% off, you're saving $2. So it'll be a total of $18. How much is the shirt after taxes are applied? So we need to take our 18 times 8.5%. So that's 8.5%. To make that a decimal, we'll move it over 2 times 0.085. So 18 times 0.085. And we get a total amount of taxes is 1.53. I know that that's not done because this t-shirt would be really cheap if it was $1.53. So that is just the taxes. I need to add it on to the 18. His total shirt comes out to $19.53. Number 12, Teresa's restaurant bill comes to $29.99 before tax. If the sales tax is 6.25% and she tips the waiter 20%, what is the total cost of the meal? So we need to do $29.99, and we need to multiply her tip right now because she's going to tip the waitress. Actually, sales tax is 6.25. Let's see which one goes first. Tax or tip? All right. Tipping pre-tax is absolutely fine. So we're going to figure out the tip first, and then we'll add the tax. Well, let's figure out what the tip is, and then we'll add the tax. And those will be two separate things we need to add. So times 0.20, so $29.99 times 0.20. So we have a total. Actually, it's going to round up to $6 for her tip. And now $29.99 times our sales tax, we need to move our decimal 2 times, so it'll be 0.0625. So the amount of tax we're going to pay is $1.87, or I rounded it. So we'll need to add these to our $29.99 and figure out the total cost of the meal. $29.99 plus 6 plus 1.87. We get a total cost of $37.86. For number 13, how can you determine the cost of an item including tax if you know the price of an item and the tax rate? So if we know the price, this is a lot like number 11, part B. If we know the cost of the item and we know the tax rate, first convert the percent to a decimal. Then multiply to figure out the amount of tax to pay. Finally, we add them together. And by the way, the way I did these was probably the two-step way. So like part B on number 11, we could have done 18 times 1.085. For number 12, we could have done 29 no, actually that doesn't work if we have two different things we need to add to that tax. But I didn't do any of the 100% plus 8.5%. I didn't do 108.5%. on number 11, or the ones before that. I didn't do the second method. I did the first one where we figure out this part and then add it or subtract it from the original amount. There's many ways to solve these problems. Essentially, though, if you can figure out percentages of numbers, you can pretty much figure anything out. So your homework on this section involves tips, involves taxes, mistakes, common mistakes that I might expect to see. Stuff to think about, stuff to worry about is when you're turning percents into decimals, be really careful. Make sure you move the decimal twice. So on one of them, it says 0.5% tax. So this is going to move the decimal 2 times. This will turn into 0.005 instead of 0.05, because 0.05 is 5%. So be careful. This is 0.5%. You move it 2 times. We have another one that's 6.5%, and that will be 0.065. Decimal moves over 2 times to here. Okay, so just be careful on those.